sentado por acá, Fernando. Base Esmeralda, desde allá de Cuernavaca.
Igualmente, personales, todos los buenos deseos, bendito familia, lo mejor de lo mejor. Y ahí está, nomás se le escucha, Manuel. ¿Cómo te quedas ahí? Por acá te quedo bonito.
¿Qué pasó, Fernando? Buenas tardes, se me hacía conocido ese audio.
Pero bueno,
pero lo importante es que ya te dice las 3 y vieron que sí, pues ahí había con queso las enchiladas, Diamante. Pero yo que sí,
porque me estás contestando. Un saludo desde la tierra primavera. Estamos tratando de saludar y bueno, qué bueno que me da la oportunidad de saludarla ahí con el permiso de los demás.
La próxima que ya quieren. Está bien, gracias.
Lo que pasa que ahorita ya le pisó el gato, creo. Algo le hizo porque está llegando el 9 más 20. 9 más 20 para acá, para las Carolinas. ¿Usted, Fernando? Todo bien, gracias a Dios, Fernando. Todo bastante bien, ¿eh? Un poco de lluvia la semana pasada debido al huracán de Idalia que pegó allá por la Florida. Acá nos llegó un poquito de ello, pero puro viento leve y un poco de agua fue todo, ¿eh? Pero todo haciendo por este lado, Fernando. Gustando en saludarlo, pues dale.
No, pues está bien, ahí agradable el clima. Y por acá también es temporada de lluvia, ¿eh? Las temperaturas muy agradables. Todo este mes de septiembre, más bien a mediados se supone, pero pues ahí se retrasaron las lluvias. Quién sabe cómo vaya a quedar esto. Pero pues sí, por acá también muy agradable la temperatura. Noche medio lloviznó y pues cuando menos está fresco. Así que lo que hay de este lado por la eterna primavera, Ricardo, pues él
están llamando, creo que está llamando Barbación, creo. Bueno, qué bueno que esté haciendo por allá la temperatura ya por Cuernavaca. Pues Fernando, siga disfrutando del tiempo allá por Cuernavaca, aproveche la condición, salude por allá, creo que es de Barbación, allá por San Diego, ¿cómo se llama? Ahí lo escuché un poquito bajito, ahí me lo saluda. Adelante Fernando, y usted me escucha allá preso, págale.
Ok, Ricardo, gracias y ahí te saludo al señorón de Gilberto Barbadeo allá por Escondido, California. Dale 680 Gilberto, dale 680 para saludarte como te pedí Gilberto, pues dale. Transmitters, the old Heath kit or the old Allied Night kit, the old 6DQ6 output. I think it's the TX62, that's your 60 by Night kit, something along those lines, just about anything. I'm looking for that. Doesn't have to work, but I do need the schematic with it. Area code 951-323-3945. KD6.
So what was the last one, Marty?
3945.
Boy, I need the first two of that. You keep getting hit by lightning.
Is this like a typical farm, or is there any need for you to have that type of equipment?
You talking to me, Craig?
Yeah, roger that. I know you're on a ranch, right?
Yeah, I have 32 acres here. Yeah, and I just got up to get a bottle of water, but yeah, we have 32 acres and 4 horses and chickens and I don't know what else is out there, but yeah, we cats. So yeah, we got a lot of cats.
Do you have like a tractor and stuff like that, or is the power wagon your main workhorse there?
Yeah, I have a diesel tractor. It's not very big. I have one of those with a Gannon and right now I have a bush hog on there. We have tractors. We have some lawn garden tractors, a lot of weed whacking equipment, and my flatbeds are gone. I sold those. What else? We got everything here is full-wheel drive. She has a 2020 Tundra. I have the 16 Power Wagon, and then we got 2 FJs in the garage here, and we got some ATVs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's it's just our little ranch here, and we take in a few horses, rescue type horses.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. You guys rescue horses. Pretty amazing work you're doing out there. Well, very good. Yeah, back in New Zealand when I was a kid, we lived on a little farm and we had tractors and stuff, and neighbors had 70 series Land Cruisers and all of that, to run the farm and that. So sometimes, some of these farms in New Zealand were, 1,000+ acre farms, and they would get in their Land Cruisers and drive out to the part of the farm that they're working on, and that's where they'd have a bunch of equipment staged, their tractors and all that type of stuff, and then do the work, and then get back in the Land Cruiser and drive back to the house. So that kind of tells you how those Land Cruisers back on the farm were being used there, over.
Oh yeah, N7 BFN. Oh yeah, they use them. I wish I had that kind of property. I do, but this is a flat and scrubby, a lot of tumbleweeds. The trees here are the ones that we planted, so there's a lot of trees. But we planted all those and did the fencing, and we had somebody come in to do pipe fencing for us. But the problem really, honestly, is that the hay is $30 a bale, so the grass hay, and we can't afford a lot of horses, and I don't want any more horses. They're just a lot of work. She's going to be going in for surgery, so she's going to have her shoulder fixed, and so I'm going to be doing a lot of work out here. So I just don't want any more. It's just a ton of work, and the flies are just terrible this year, and we've got fly traps everywhere, predators. We put predators in the ground, and it just doesn't help. There's millions of flies, and we're battling constantly with that.
Well, those horse flies, man, those are something else. They actually bite you and they hurt. So I'm imagining the horses. It must be pretty painful to be a horse having a bunch of horse flies around you.
Yeah, that's why they got the tails. They constantly swishing. And we got these big June bugs and cicadas, and these things fly around. It sound like a little helicopter flying around. So yeah, we got the cicadas at August and September. They're up in the trees, and they're really loud. This evening when we open the doors, when it's cooler, they'll be you'll hear them. They're really loud. So yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, just in the small place that we have. I mean, you know, and there's nobody here to help us. It's just us. So, but yeah, you got to keep on top of this stuff.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, my dad took me out to one of the neighbors' farms, and we'd to put it in the fence. So that's when I first was introduced to the high lift jack. You know, the jacks that I had my Land Cruiser. The high lift jack was used in New Zealand to stretch out the fence line. You know, when you're putting in a new fence, to stretch out the wire so it's nice and tight. You know, so anyway, I learned how to, you know, to make fences and all that stuff. And I was 10 years old. I was digging some holes and all that type of stuff. So, you know, it's definitely a lot out there on the farm, and it's a full-time job, and you know, I can see how it gets tiring really quickly out there.
Yeah, I know, because I'm not young anymore, but yes, I have a high lift in there, and you know what I use that for? I have a come-along I use when I do the fence. I did all the fencing myself. Not all of it, but a lot of it. I use that, you know, those T-posts that have the barb on the end. Well, a lot of times you got to pull them back out, and they are just a bear to pull out. So what you do is you wrap a chain around that T-post, and you use that high lift to pull that thing out, and that works really, really good. But you have to lug that jack and that chain around, you know. And on a really hot day, man, it gets hot and heavy, but it really works good for pulling those T-posts out. They are very hard to pull out because of that damn barb on the end. As you drive it in the ground, you just won't come out. I even tried to use the tractor, you know, the front loader, and it just lifted the back of the tractor up. It wouldn't. So that's what I use on that, is that high lift.
Yeah, it's amazing all of the uses for a high lift. But man, you got to be careful. You got to know what you're doing. You got to keep it lubed. You got to keep it maintained, because it can be dangerous out there if you know what you're doing. But yeah, so stretching wires. I mean, it's definitely a staple on the farm. You know, you got to always have one of those handy to help you out. So many uses for a high lift.
Yeah, I used, you know what I did when I was up here, well, 15 years ago, when I came up here by myself, there was nobody around up here, and so I would use I had a Cummins diesel, and I would use that. It had a big, what did I use? I think it had a hook on the back, like a pennel, and I just used that in a come-along to stretch that fence, that chain link. Well, it's actually like a no-climb fence, and I used that, and I made a tool. I think I made a tool, and then I bought one, the stretcher with the hooks on it, and I just hooked it to the truck, and I was by myself, and the hardest part is rolling that fence out and not having it roll back on you. It was crazy. It was up here in the winter, it was snowing, and I couldn't you know, like I had one end hooked to the truck, but then when I rolled the roll out and tried to get off of it, it would roll back up, and I was out here. Somebody should have took a picture of that. It would have been very hilarious. I was like, how the hell am I going to keep this stretched out to hook the other end, to get it up? And it was pretty hilarious. I was the only one out here, and there was nobody around, and I did it, but it took a lot of effort, and I don't think I could do it now. I'm just too old.
Yeah, definitely farming is for the young at heart, that's for sure, man. It requires all types of strength and that. So, all right, man, I'm going to take a break here. I'm getting thirsty. I'm going to grab something to drink. But great chatting to you. Sounding loud into San Diego. You're constantly 10 over 9 here. Sounding good. Have a good afternoon out there. And 6MUD, San Diego.
Okay, Craig, always a pleasure. Very, very good. And I'll tell you some Kiwi stories someday. We had guys over there working with us, and they were good guys. They were cool. And they talked about the sheep sheds and all kinds of stuff from New Zealand. Anyway, okay, let's take a break, and somebody else will probably want to get in there. And always a pleasure. N7VFN.
right? You don't like I do the hell stuff.
Bueno, gracias. De igual manera, ahí mándame un buen saludo al maestro Viviano y a toda la familia. Ahí cuando pases por acá y lleno a saludarte. Muchas gracias y muy buenas tardes.
Ándale, seguro que sí, Héctor. Gracias a ti. Ahí cuando quieras, ahí visítanos. También aquí en la 27.565. Ahí estamos a la purísima orden. En veces no hay condiciones, pero por ahí andamos también en el Facebook Live. Así es de que cuídate mucho, Héctor. Gracias por los saludos. Y disfruta lo que queda del domingo. 7-3, caballero. Buen día.
Oh, campa, caballero. Gracias. 7-3 y buen día.
Won't be in until tomorrow, but so far, Equalizer 3 doing even better than expected, and looks...
1877 cars for kids.
The GI Bill. Now is the time. MyComputerCareer.com.
Given up 37 runs. Here's the next pitch.
Well, Barbie is now the undisputed box office champ of the year. The smash hit about the legendary doll has just passed more than $1.36 billion in worldwide ticket sales. That breaks the previous 2023 record set by the animated Super Mario Brothers movie. Barbie also recently broke that film's record for the highest domestic earnings this year, and as of this weekend, its North American take now tops $600 million so far. With COVID-19 infections on the rise again, LA County public health officials urging people to take precautions against the virus during this long weekend. Their recommendations include holding any group gatherings outdoors if possible, making sure there's lots of ventilation for any indoor events, and asking people to test themselves for COVID before getting together. They say people should at least consider wearing masks in crowded spaces. Several thousand students at the old Ashford University, an online for-profit school based in San Diego that's since been acquired by the University of Arizona, can stop paying back their loans. U.S. Undersecretary of Education James Koval explained that the government, for now, is covering the loan costs.
We are approving $72 million in borrower defense claims for more than 2,300 individuals who attended Ashford University at some point between March 1st, 2009 and April 30th, 2020. The department will seek to recoup the cost of these discharges. Borrowers whose applications are approved will not have to make any more payments on these loans.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta sued and won a $22 million judgment against the university last year. This after it came out that Ashford's recruiters consistently misled students on issues like transferring credits and tuition costs. When LA Mayor Karen Bass took listener calls on KNX In Depth this past week, she said Caltrans is to blame for many of our trashy roads, so we talked with Caltrans. Here's Brian Ping.
The agency says it's already filled 7,500 trash trucks worth of litter from area roadways over the last 2 years. And spokesman Eric Menibar tells us it's not just trash removal that they're tackling.
The number one thing is, as a society, we need to do is take care of our spaces, take care of the places that we live in. And that goes to everyone, just not to litter.
He says ultimately clean roadways are up to us.
We're going to transform a lot of the intersections on our ramps into native planting and rockscaping. And also we're going to add 3 murals to reduce graffiti as well. We have 17 of these type of projects happening. We have over 100 statewide, and that's something that we're taking serious as a department. We really want to divide spaces into beautified areas to uplift these communities.
On her in-depth interview, Mayor Bass used the word terrible to describe our freeways, but admits that's largely out of her hands. I'm Brian Ping, KNX News 97.1 FM.
Gonna look at your money now. Here's Bloomberg's Lisa Mateo.
The fast food restaurant industry has been seeing a tech boom.
Hi, what can I make fresh for you today?
Can I have the stuffed quesadilla taco, please?
Like carne asada, crispy chicken, or grilled chicken?
From automated drive-thrus like this one at Del Taco to kiosks where customers do the work, experts say they are readjusting the workflow to meet consumer demands.
You can still talk to a person if you need to, but I think what they've really done is redeployed the folks that are working in those restaurants more towards the production of the food and getting you what you asked for.
Christopher Stiefkin is the global head of technology at Xenial, a company that develops hardware and software for restaurants. He says drive-thrus are also seeing an upgrade.
A lot of folks are testing out more lanes, 4-lane drive-thrus that have specific mobile ordering pickup points. When you deal with cars and you're working with drive-thrus, you're limited to the real estate of the actual space that you're working on. And so some of these restaurants you see with an elevated second floor.
I'm Bloomberg's Lisa Mateo from the U.S. Bank Money Desk, KNX News 97.1 FM.
KNX connects you to the people making news.
Mayor Bass, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
This person identifies as a concerned resident.
There's trash all over the place. She is 100% correct. I drive down the street and I'm horrified by it.
KNX News 97.1 FM is SoCal's only 24/7 connection.
With time-of-use rate plans from SCE, you're getting the ultimate win-win. Because when you shift away from using energy during peak hours, you're not only enjoying lower rates, you'll also enjoy more time to do what you love. So instead of using major appliances from 4 to 9 p.m., you could be reading and saving, calorie burning and saving, even dog walking and saving. Time-of-use rate plans from SCE. That's a win-win. Learn more at SCE.com/shift and save.
It's 122. Helping the homeless stay connected, we check in with a former KNX Helpful Honda Hero of the Week who's changing lives in honor of his son.
It's impossible to list all the things that Paul Avila does in a short 2 minutes, but I'm going to try. See, Paul is the CEO and founder of Polly's Project. It's a nonprofit that was created about 10 years ago in honor of his son, Polly, who's now a 26-year-old young man with a spirit of gold. Polly is autistic, blind, and verbal, but music allows Polly to fly. So Polly's Project supplies battery-operated radios to those who could use a little pick-me-up.
At a young age, we found out that Polly seemed to be soothed by music. We'd throw the headphones on him, and he just got so happy. As Polly got older, again, about 10 years ago now, I started doing a lot of outreach in Skid Row. I had an uncle who unfortunately has passed. He lived in Skid Row, so at a young age, my mom would take me down there and we'd drop off my uncle, hygiene kits and clothing and all that stuff. So after he passed away, I said, man, I want to go back to that area and kind of make a difference. I was volunteering one morning and I saw this homeless gentleman with headphones on, and I always refer to it as like a big old Colgate smell, but it was just like one of those wow moments. So I went home and I was like, all right, God, like you planted a seed in my heart. Music was, soothing him, and I just thought of Polly. So I said, you know what, we're going to share the gift of music by just donating radio.
For many of the homeless people receiving these radio players, it's the first time in a long time that they can tune in to hear the news.
Yeah, this was their way to connect back to society, to hear the updated news, sports, and we could hear that music that kind of puts you in a good mood. There's so much purpose and passion and meaning behind it. I know there's things I can't do with Polly, playing sports or driving a car or what have you, but this is what I can do to honor my son.
Along with the radios, Polly's Project has expanded to deliver food, clothing, hygiene products like shampoo and toilet paper to about 400 people every month. And Polly himself has made a big impact, inspiring a lot of people. And he was recently honored in a new mural. He's got a couple already. This new one is in downtown LA at 7th and Los Angeles.
My friend is doing Polly's portrait, holding a bouquet of flowers because Polly loves flowers.
Passing out radio players, creating smiles, and helping a community in need. KNX Helpful Honda Heroes are made possible only by your SoCal Honda dealers. Follow them on social media at SoCal Honda Dealers to see how the helpful Honda guys in blue are surprising people with random acts of helpfulness. You can see pictures and connect with Polly's Project at the Heroes page at knxnews.com and on our socials. I'm Heather Jordan, KNX News 97.1 FM.
And coming up on KNX News, Burning Man attendees try to keep the festive spirit up while they're being urged to conserve water, food, and power. First, though, at 1:25, your traffic 10 minutes on the 5s. This report brought to you by Irvine Auto Center. Here's Manny.
Yeah, we've got major delays through Corona, 15 south at El Cerrito. It's a 3-car injury smash-up. The express lanes are blocked, but everything's loading up along the main line, so it's busy from the 91 to Wyrick Road. Linwood, 105 west at Long Beach Boulevard. It's a 2-car collision over to the right. The delays begin at the 710, Gardena, 110 south connector to the 91 east. It's a big rig on its side. The driver was injured, and the transition lanes are jammed up. This one sounds like it's going to be a sigler. So just be advised, South LA, 110 south at Vernon, a 2-car wreck, a couple of lanes taken away, and a slight backup to Exposition. Looking for great Labor Day savings on a new or quality pre-owned vehicle? Don't want to wait. The Irvine Auto Center has exactly what you're looking for. Now featuring 16 of the top import, domestic luxury, and exotic brands with special Labor Day finance and payment and programs. All in one location, the Irvine Auto Center, where the 5 meets the 405 at Lake Forest Drive. Our next report, 1:35. In the Irvine Auto Center, 24-hour traffic center.
Well, partly cloudy for your afternoon on this Sunday with highs mostly in the 70s, maybe an 80 or 81 here popping up. But for the most part, going to be pretty comfortable for the rest of the day. We'll have winds blowing at around 15 miles per hour, gust 40 possible, though, for the Antelope Valley. Clear early, then low clouds and fog later tonight with lows in the 60s. Right now, 78 in Anaheim, 79 in Long Beach. It's 127.
When you need to know, turn on 97.1 FM.
I'm so proud. Every day my clients receive substantial ERC refunds. If your company has not applied for the employee retention credit, or if you're told you didn't qualify, I urge you to call me today while applications are still being accepted. Car dealerships, delivery services, medical offices, nonprofits, restaurants are just some of the businesses that receive refunds. If you kept a minimum of 3 W-2 employees that were not family on payroll during the pandemic, you may be eligible to receive up to $26,000 per employee, and it doesn't need to be paid back. We have a 15% contingency fee based on what you receive. After you receive it, if you don't get a refund, you pay nothing. You owe it to yourself to call me, Tom Brown, and my ERC experts will run the numbers. Call 844-949-2424. That's 844-949-2424. I'm Tom Brown, proud Navy veteran. 844-949-2424.
Contingency fee is 15% on 5 or more employees, 3 to 5 employees, 20%.
Now through September 6th, listen to all the magic of an Air France rendezvous. It's time to book your rendezvous with Paris with daily flights from Los Angeles starting at $959 round trip, taxes included. And with Air France, enjoy a glass of champagne in all cabins. Elegance is a journey. Air France. Round trip purchase required. Advertised fare not available on all flights. Additional restrictions apply. See terms and conditions at airfrance.us.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, we'll get your kitchen clicking. With top brand appliances, like a new LG refrigerator capable of making 4 different types of ice. Or an LG oven with built-in air fryer for healthier, crispier options. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online, your innovative new appliances are also just a click away. Get up to $700 off select appliances, plus an extra $1,000 off LG kitchen appliances, only at the Home Depot. Pricing valid 8/24 through 9/13, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Freddie hits a high fly ball to right field and deep. It is carrying toward the wall. It is gone! A grand slam!
2023 has been a blockbuster season for Freddie Freeman, putting on a clinic that has made him the topic of MVP discussions around the league. Celebrate his stellar season coming to Dodger Stadium on September 12th when the Dodgers take on the San Diego Padres. The first...